Hey, this is Talia Karen from the Dating Intentionally podcast. I found Adam on Threads and hired him to help me level up my strategy and leverage my podcast to get more clients in my dating coaching business. After working with him for about 2 months, my downloads are way up. I am feeling a lot better about how I plan episodes, and I have a real formula for promoting my services without sacrificing the quality of my content. I was expecting our work together to be mostly focused on my podcast, but he actually helped me get organized with the rest of my business around my show in a way that would have taken me a lot longer to figure out if I was on my own. You will not regret working with Adam on your podcast.
What's up, Pod Pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you are listening to Podcasting Business School. It's the show where I teach podcasters simple strategies to help you grow your audience and turn your podcast content into new clients. Today, we're talking about 3 advantages of being a smaller niche podcast. A lot of people think that that is a disadvantage. I'm going to give you 3 superpowers of the smaller niche podcaster. But first, I want to shout out my Skool community. We are 400 plus members strong, and I'm having so much fun in there. We are cranking out results. We're doing challenges. This is the community that I have been trying to figure out how to build since 2018, and I've finally done it, and I would love to invite you to join. It's free. If you actually want to be a part of a community where it's being led by somebody that actually has grown podcasts and actually has monetized significantly, this is going to be the place for you. All right. Now, something is going on. Something is happening that is big tomorrow, August 26th. Your buddy Adam turns 46 years old. I'm getting up there, but feeling good, feeling really good about that. But I'm giving myself a pay raise on my birthday, as it should be, right? So within the Skool community, there's a thriving free tier, and we get a lot done in there. But I do have a premium tier that the price is going up tomorrow for my birthday. So by the end of the day today, Tuesday the 25th, when you wake up the next day, the price is going to be increased from $9 a month to $19 per month. By the end of the year, I'm going to slowly ramp this up to $59 per month. Now, if you get in at $9, you're grandfathered in. You're locked in. The price will not increase. The premium tier benefit is you unlock all the courses that I've created, and you get weekly group coaching. As we get more premium members in there, I'm going to increase the amount of trainings we do per week and some different things that we can do with that. So I'm really excited about this, but this is a deadline day. Today is the last day to get $9 per month. Lock that in, and you'll be glad you did when everybody else is paying $59 a month by the end of the year. All right, so that is that. Now, before we dive in, one more thing to do. I want to shout out 3 people that have recently upgraded from free to premium inside the Skool community. First shout out, my guy, Michael Hunt from the Matters of Consequence podcast. We've got Smitha Rao, host of the Unglamorous in the City podcast, and my pod pal, Jules, the budget nerd, host of Debt Rebel. Check out those shows, support my pod pals. Okay, let's get into the good stuff here. We are talking about smaller niche advantages. A lot of podcasters, when you first get in, we're having these conversations within the Skool community. We did a challenge a couple of weeks ago when we worked about SEO, the name of your show, who you're trying to impact, and we were working through some of these questions. And a lot of people are realizing that it's harder to do keywords. It's harder to have a growth advantage in a really broad topic show. If it's the everything and everybody show, usually nobody listens. So we have to work on niching down a bit. And I'm always challenging my community members, my clients to do this, because I've just seen it over the last 11 years of being a podcaster. I've seen it. Like, it's really hard to grow in everything for everybody. Just having chats about things and talking, yapping, that's really, really hard. If you are just doing this as a hobby and you enjoy the tech and enjoy if it's an art form for you, that's fine. But if you really want to grow something and if you really want to monetize something, niching down is a really smart move. All right. The thought process today, the hub of this conversation is going to be about a framework that I've developed. I've talked about this on a couple of episodes before. It's called the Podcast Monetization Difficulty Scale. There are 4 quadrants. All right. I'm going to map this out so it's easy for you to visualize. But this is going to help you figure out where you fit in and whether you're making the job of making money as a content creator more difficult or less difficult. So the first quadrant of the 4, quadrant 1, is small audience, broad topic. So this is for the person that is just getting started and they are going to have a show about health or about business or about social media. Like, so broad topic, big broad topic, starting out with 0, small audience. The second quadrant is we just grow the audience. That would be large audience, broad topic. This is for somebody that has that health show and grows it into a bigger audience. One example would be my first show. I had a show called the Million Pound Mission podcast. It was a health and weight loss show. It wasn't really niche down or specific. And I just grew the heck out of that thing. I just ground it out, put in my reps, and we got that thing doing about 25,000 downloads a month, which is pretty good. All right. So that was a larger audience, but still a broad topic. That's quadrant 2. Now, quadrant 3 is where I feel like we make an exponential leap on being able to earn money. All right. Quadrant 3 is somebody just starting out, small audience, like a lot of us, niche topic. So small audience, niche topic. I feel like this is where we hit the fast forward button with monetization, not just with getting clients, but also with brand deals and sponsorships. There's an opportunity here. All right. And then quadrant 4, we just grow quadrant 3. So that's large audience, niche topic. So quadrant 2 and quadrant 4 are just about growth. So if you have a broad topic or a niche topic, we're just growing that and expanding it, and opportunities expand with that. So we're really going to focus on the difference between quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. And I'm going to give you some examples. So again, quadrant 1, small audience, broad topic. Quadrant 3, small audience, niche topic. All right. And a small audience, I would say, let's put some numbers on it. You're definitely doing less than 1,000 downloads per episode, probably doing less than 200 downloads per episode. All right. We're just getting started. And, you probably, with a small audience, you probably don't have much of a social media following, don't have much of an email list. All right. Okay. Let's do some examples of Q1 versus Q3 podcast names and topics. First example, let's say there's a show with a really catchy name called Feeling Great. This is a wellness show. This is a Q1. This is a small audience. We're just launching it. Very broad topic. It's going to be hard to monetize this show. Quadrant 3 variation of this. So we go small audience, but a niche topic. We turn it from Feeling Great into weight loss tips for busy entrepreneurs. All right, now we've niched down. Now our opportunities are going to grow. All right, next example. Quadrant 1. This is a show called Livin', Lovin', and Lifin'. This is actually a mental health show. It's got a catchy name with 0 keywords. This is very typical of what a lot of us do when we first start. We have a little catchy name, which is like the poison for podcast SEO. I promise I won't go on an SEO rant today. I do that plenty of other times. So Livin', Lovin', and Lifin'. This is a mental health topic, broad topic podcast. Now, let's niche it down. Let's bring it down into quadrant 3. Small audience, but niche topic. Quadrant 3 variation would be mental health conversations for Christian moms. Ooh, super specific. Love leading with that keyword, mental health. We have that identifying term, Christian moms. We know what it's about. We know who it's for. This is a really home run quadrant 3 topic. I had a client that I worked with this that kind of inspired this example. She had kind of a quadrant 1 name at first, and she did less than 500 downloads in a year. We switched it into a quadrant 3 name, very similar to the example I gave you, and she did over 100,000 downloads the next year. Huge difference. All right. So when we talk about opportunity for growth, we just niched down and we grew. It's counterintuitive sometimes. All right. Another example, last example that we're going to use here. Actually, I've got one more. Second to last example. Quadrant 1. It's a public speaking podcast. That's the topic. It's called I Like to Yap. Broad, catchy name. Yap's a really popular word, not a search term. People aren't going to put yap into a Apple or Spotify. But this would be a very typical, hey, I'm going to have a show about public speaking. I'm going to call it I Like to Yap. Now, I didn't even search any of these fake names, so they may exist. Who knows? So apologies. All right. That's quadrant 1. I Like to Yap. Let's make it a quadrant 3 niche down topic. We're going to call it public speaking strategies for lawyers. That's your target audience is helping lawyers out. legal professionals, and you're giving them public speaking strategies. Boring, bland, vanilla name. It's going to work like it's just going to be rocket fuel for growth and for potential monetization. All right. Now I've got one more example that we're going to use, and then we're going to talk about getting clients, monetizing. We're just going to kind of break it down a little bit further with this example. So the example show, the quadrant 1 variation, the name is going to be called Everything Social. This is a broad topic social media marketing podcast. So everything social, probably a lot of guests, having a lot of people on from different areas of marketing and social media, different social media channels, things like that. That would be very quadrant 1. Very broad, small audience, broad topic, everything social. Now we go small audience, niche topic, quadrant 3, Instagram marketing for personal trainers. So we're focusing on Instagram and we're focusing on helping personal trainers. Let's unpack this a little bit. Q1 versus Q3. So the first thing, let's talk about getting clients. Everything social is going to have a hard time getting clients from this show because you aren't calling to anybody specifically and you're probably doing way too many interviews. If you do primarily interviews, if you're not using my 2/3 content rule, if you're not using that strategy, you're not positioning yourself as the expert. So your audience won't see you as an expert and they will not buy from you. So everything social is going to have a really hard time from a lot of different angles with getting clients. Now let's look at the quadrant 3 variation, the niche topic, Instagram marketing for personal trainers. Okay. We know that Instagram is huge in the health influencer space. One niche of the health influencer space will be personal trainers. All right. So if you have personal trainers searching around on podcast apps for Instagram marketing tips, Instagram marketing strategies, you're going to show up and they're going to see, oh, this isn't everything social. This isn't a broad topic. This is for me. And they're going to click on your show. They're going to dive in. If you're maybe doing some coaching episodes where you're coaching personal trainers through their Instagram marketing strategy, you're doing an Instagram marketing audit for personal trainers. I mean, just go to a freaking gym. How many personal trainers does every gym have? And then how many gyms are there? And how many online trainers are there? This is a huge market. I think the big niche versus small niche opportunity is, if people get confused over that, because they think like, oh, but social media, there's so many social media things out there. That's a bigger opportunity, but it's not specific enough. There are millions and millions and millions of personal trainers out there that want Instagram marketing strategies. You can be full with a client roster for the rest of your life on this small niche topic. All right. You could probably make millions of dollars by titling it Instagram marketing for left-handed personal trainers. Like, I don't know if we need to get that niche, but there are millions and millions and millions of left-handed personal trainers out there. All right. I know maybe you hold the app a little bit differently with your phone or something like that. I don't know. But I'm not saying to go that niche, by the way, but that's just an over-the-top example. So it's going to be much, much easier with getting clients with Instagram marketing for personal trainers. Now, what about sponsors? What about brand affiliates? Because my recent conversation in episode 634 with Justin Moore really opened my eyes to this. Now, I'm not right now chasing sponsorships or brand deals, but that conversation with Justin did flip the way that I think about it. All right. He really convinced me that the smaller niche has the most power because you have a louder voice with a very specific audience. And that is what sponsors and brand partners actually want. Louder voice with a very specific audience. So I think with a quadrant 3 show, Instagram marketing for personal trainers, for a sponsor or a brand that wants to get in front of personal trainers, maybe it's some sort of a certification, maybe it's nutritional products, maybe it is like fitness equipment or tech apps, things like that. Like, so that's so much more specific. And if you are the loudest voice in that little tiny room, brand partnerships are going to make a lot of sense. So with the quadrant 3 variation, I feel like it won with monetizing with clients, and it also won with getting sponsors. Now, if you go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2 and go small audience with a broad niche to a large audience once you have a large audience, you can do whatever you want. But guess what? It's really freaking hard to get a large audience. Really hard. All right. So if you're just starting and we're going to try to grow a large audience anyway, why wouldn't you niche down? I hope this is starting to make sense. All right. Let's talk about one more thing. Actually, we have two more things. We're going to talk about how it's easier to actually be a guest on podcasts with a Quadrant 3 show. So let's look at these two. The Everything Social podcast, you're just kind of leading conversations about broad topic social media. Instagram marketing for personal trainers, it's going to be a lot easier for you, even if you're pitching. You know, I don't do a lot of pitching, but even if you're out there pitching, it's going to be easier for you to get on shows because of your smaller niche. You're able to be a smaller niche conversation on a broader niche topic. So there are lots and lots and lots of social media and marketing shows that are broad topic, but they've built the large audience and they're looking for niche topics to have unique conversations about. All right. So if you approach them and say, hey, I'm also a large, broad topic, social media marketing person. And guess what? As a bonus, I have no audience. Like, they're not going to have you on. But if you go, hey, I'm just getting started, but I'm really building a following within this niche of Instagram marketing for personal trainers. And, you know, you have a shot that's really unique. And really talking about Instagram marketing specifically for personal trainers, that's a unique conversation. That's an easier conversation to pitch to a larger podcast. All right. And my strategy of inviting the larger show on to your show first, that still works here too. You can invite a larger marketing podcaster onto your show to talk about how their thoughts and methodologies would apply to Instagram marketing for personal trainers. And then you make friends and they go, hey, this is a really interesting topic. You should come on. I know I've got a lot of personal trainers that listen and fitness professionals that listen to my show. You should come on and have the conversation from your perspective on our show. So I believe that the Quadrant 3 wins again in this category. It's easier to be a guest on larger niche shows when you have a smaller niche podcast. Number 3, it's easier to own your niche. This is the third superpower. All right, so we've already proven it's easier to monetize with clients and sponsors. We've already proven it's easier to be a guest on larger niche shows. So that's the second superpower of having a smaller niche podcast. The third superpower is it's easier to own that niche. This makes sense, right? Less competition. I mean, how many Instagram marketing for personal trainers podcasts are there? Probably not many. Maybe not any at all. I don't know. I just made up these names 5 minutes ago. So you guys can search it on your own. Maybe there's millions. I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot. And there's a million of these, but I doubt it. And it's easier to own that niche. Like, you can be the go-to person so much faster than just grinding it out and becoming like, okay, now I've got to be the biggest show about social media marketing. And I'm competing with shows that have been going for 10 years that have established audiences and millions of followers online. That's going to be really freaking hard. Even like, I've got a fresh perspective. Like, still, it's going to be so freaking hard. Why not make this easier on yourself and niche down? Now, let's run my show, Podcasting Business School, through the ringer here and compare it to like a typical business show. Like, I could have had just a broad-based business show called, Talking Business, Talking Shop. Let's say Talking Shop versus Podcasting Business School. So Talking Shop is a broad, just business topic show, but Podcasting Business School is very niche. It is teaching you all podcasters business strategies that will help you grow your audience and your online business. Real specific. All right. Because you have to check a couple of boxes. You got to be a podcaster and interested in making money in online business. All right. So as far as getting clients, I have clients that hire me all the time because they search tips for podcasting or tips for online business. And then they see that, oh, I check both of these boxes. So let's say somebody's searching for an online business show. My show pops up and like, I've been thinking about using a podcast. This seems like it kind of covers both topics. Interesting. Let's check it out. Tap. Let's say that they're searching podcasting tips and like, oh, wow, this guy's really focusing on online business. I'm an online business owner. That's why I'm podcasting. Tap. Okay. So that person that really fits my ideal client avatar is attracted to the name via podcast SEO. and they're attracted to the content because of the unique niche, the specific niche, the quadrant 3 niche down show. Let's talk about podcast guesting. I am a guest all the time on broad brush, big topic, entrepreneurship, and business shows. I am the guy on, or even podcasting in general. I would still consider that niche down a little bit, but it's still a bigger niche than online business strategies for podcasters. So entrepreneurship show, a business show, I talk about how to, as a guest, I will go on there, I'll talk about how to use a podcast to grow their online business as entrepreneurs, how it can leverage a podcast to get clients, content to clients. If I'm on a podcasting show, and a lot of times podcasts about podcasts talk about microphones and equipment and recording strategies and things like that. And I don't talk about that because this is a business show for podcasters. So I can go in there and talk about the business side of the equation and talk about, again, content to client conversion, a lot of my SEO strategies, things like that. So I'm guesting on 3 or 4 podcasts a week, usually. I definitely do more than 10 a month. And yeah, so it's really easy for me to be a guest on lots of shows because I have a unique perspective. We're not going broad niche topic to broad niche topic. We're going small niche topic onto broad niche shows. Now, the third superpower is that known expert. Like, the proof is in the pudding, y'all. Like, again, I don't like being all braggy. I don't like big timing, y'all. I'm from the Midwest. That's the phrase we use. Oh, he's big timing us now. He's big timing us. That's a very Midwest term. But like on Threads, I get tagged every single day by somebody will post something about making money with a podcast or growing a podcast or just getting started with podcasting. And my followers will tag me and go, hey, you need to follow this guy. This happens every single day. I am a known expert in that niche on that platform. And it happens every single day because I'm niche down. I'm not the business guy, the everything business guy. And that's the unique thing is like I'm approaching 5,000 followers on Threads. Not huge. It's not a giant channel, but it's very niche. It's very specific. And I'm getting recommended and I'm owning that niche on that platform. I'm kind of doing the same here on the audio platform. So that's just an example of my show. I want you to run your show through the ringer here. Like really look at it and go, could I niche down a little bit? And I know the question that you have and the thing that you fear is the fear of missing out. Like, what if I niche down to only focus on men or only women or only dentists or only whatever? Like it's scary because you're like, oh, but what if somebody hears my show and they're not a man, they're a woman, and they're like, oh, this isn't for me because I'm a woman or whatever. And that fear is there. But let me tell you, there's so much opportunity within the smallest of small niches. An example, one of my clients, Ryan, he does podcast launch and editing and production, and he's exclusively focusing on dentists, biological dentists. I didn't even know what that was. I had to look it up. And he is killing it. Shout out to Ryan Kimball. And I mean, helping biological dentists launch podcasts, that's a crazy small niche. And he is owning it, and they're referring him to their colleagues, and he is doing awesome. All right. So I hope that example alleviates some of the fear. Like, he could help anybody and everybody launch shows, but he's focusing on biological dentistry. That's a small niche, and he's doing great. So, and this is something to where you could try it. And if it doesn't work, if it's an epic fail, you can broaden or try a different niche. But you got to just look at, like, who are you the absolute best at helping? Who really fits the type of client that you love working with, and the topic of the, that you love working with, and the topic you love teaching on, and dive into that. Because I can tell you, whether it's social media or building businesses or, working with clients, if you can marry your passion, what you love talking and teaching about, with what your ideal fit client wants to learn from you, you've got a home run. All right. Like I could sit and teach podcasters my online business strategies all day long. I freaking love it. I'm passionate about it. And, that's why I love the Skool community so much, because I get to do that all freaking day. And we got 400 plus rowdy podcasters in there, and they're asking questions, and I'm just eating it up. Like I really try to stick to my really, it's now a 2.5 day work week. I work full day on Tuesday and then a half day Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So add it all up, 2.5 days. But like even on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm in there checking that Skool community because I love it so much. I can't help it. I'm breaking my own rules. But somebody has a question, I'm diving in there. That's what I hear a lot with these communities is like, oh, the person isn't there. It's like they're minions, or it's an AI thing, or it's their, assistant coaches. But for me, like you're getting a welcome message from me. When you come in, I'm answering questions. When we did our SEO challenge, I answered 300 plus questions in 3 days. It may have been more than that. I stopped counting at 300, and that was all me. Like I'm in there typing it out and just blowing minds, giving tips, and that's in the free community. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, we are increasing the price on the premium. If you want a little bit extra help, if you want to attend weekly coaching sessions, if you want access to all my top courses, like my newsletter course, my Thread strategy course, my 10X podcast growth protocol, that's all unlocked at the premium tier. You can get it for $9 a month. You can lock that in. You don't need to worry about the price increase. So I'll put that information in the show notes. Pod Pals, let's niche down. Let's make some money and grow your expertise within that niche. And with that, I'm going to send you out in the world wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. I will see you on the next episode.
Hi, this is Chrissy Bold from the podcast Mom's Guide to Finding Herself. I needed help putting together a business that would be manageable for me to run while juggling my life as a stay-at-home mom to 2 toddlers. But I also wanted to help offset the costs of running my podcast. Adam helps me with all of my big ideas to bring them into bite-sized chunks that will help me grow a business that I can keep up with while avoiding burnout. His methods are easy to access and apply, and he's genuinely invested in making sure that the members are getting value and working towards their goals.